Oh. You actual... Fucking hell, I can't stand this guy, man. Breathe, 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 breathe. Oh my god, this guy, man, this guy stinks. This guy stinks! Whoa, come on! Oh, yes, Sabo. That's my boy. Let's go. Oh, you're a god. Yes. Oh, you're so good. Oh, stupendous. So strong. Oh, Sabo. Stop it. Oh, he's so good. This unit is so good. Oh, it's a quick enemy. Oh my god! I can't stand this guy, man. I can't stand this guy, man. Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the level limit break plus of Super Type, the original I can't stand this guy, Sabo. With his upgrade, he got a bit of a buff to his color affinity, being a 2.25 times color affinity on the second turn, and he's a 1.3 times chain booster instead of a 1.1. So, a nice little buff for his regular strength variation, and his captain ability just got a little bit more stats as well. Now, with this particular unit, he is getting a 6+, literally like today, because I'm recording this today of the Kazuna. So I thought, hey, let's get this video out quickly right before Kazuna so we can showcase what the strength one looks like. Before then, we can compare him to the Sai one. So we're going to take on Heavenly Demon 2. I hope you enjoyed the little star part there when I was trying to team build for this guy. This guy stinks, man. Like, I can't. Honestly, I can't stand this guy. I still can't stand this guy. And for all you Sabo lovers out there, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But if you enjoyed the video, belt the like button if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button. With that said, let's dive into the video. And let's take a look at Super Type Sabo versus Heavenly Demon 2. Alright, so here we are over at Heavenly Demon 2 GARP's challenge with a Super Type Sabo team and a mono strength build. Obviously, mono strength is the way to go when you are running this guy, because he only boosts strength characters, which is a huge hindrance. It's a huge, huge problem when it comes to team building for this particular guy. It's very, very annoying, and it's very, very finicky. But, nevertheless, strength is very powerful still, so that is always nice. And this little extra buff that he did get does help for the final stage of this Dofi fight, because you actually can't use color affinity on the final stage. So, utilizing Super Type Sabo can actually work, because you can actually get the carryover effect of the color affinity, so that way you don't trigger that very annoying Doflamingo shenanigans. But this is not a no-stall team. This is nothing crazy. This is nothing broken. Is this the best Dofi 2 team? Not even close. Like, it's not even up there in the top, like, 50 best Dofi teams. However, it does manage to get it done, and it does manage to do it actually sort of well. However, when you look at the team, like, you got Verse Ace on the team, 99% of the time, you're running Verse Ace as your captain. Like, that's just basic. But because it's a showcase, I did want to showcase double Super Type Sabo. So, yeah, there's obviously that. So, with Sabo's special, on turn 1, he is a 2 times color affinity boost to strength units, and then he gives the clock buff and the perfect buff to actually carry over not only a stronger color affinity buff at 2.25 for strength, but he also carried over a 1.3 times chain boost with the clock buff. So, no matter what, you're always going to get that chain boost, which is actually pretty nice. And if you hit 3 perfects, you can actually get the 2.25 color affinity boost, like you guys will actually see on this particular stage against Monet. Now, against Monet, we actually pop his special, mainly so we can just get a higher color affinity buff on the next stage and a higher chain boost. His captain ability, boost the chain multiplier growth rate of 1.5, boost strength characters attack by 4.25 and HP by 1.25, makes recovery and tandem slots match have matching slot effects. and heals the crew by 1 times his recovery at the end of the turn for every perfect that you hit. And that actual recovery does keep us alive in this particular run, and does help him out a little bit with like some like stallier sort of teams. Now, we are using Vivi Rebecca on this particular team, which is a little bit of a hindrance, because when you switch with Vivi Rebecca and you get that chain lock like mechanic, whilst chain locks are quite powerful at getting damage output every single turn, you're actually missing out on getting that 1.5 chain multiplicative buff from Sabo's captain ability, which is sort of like where his damage is built around, right? He's built around back-ended damage and allowing that last unit to hit incredibly hard. With the chain lock of Vivi Rebecca, obviously we kind of need that for this particular piece of content, and that's why it's here. However, with his tandem, when you tandem up his super type with his chain boost, Sabo can do a lot of damage at the back end of the chain. He adds 1.25 times chain multiplier growth, and adds 100 times attack in non-type damage as tap timing bonuses with his super type condition. So if you activate his super type and you have that chain boost, you can actually do quite a bit of damage at the back end of the chain, which is actually very nice. So as you guys saw there, when you have the chain lock, which I probably shouldn't have activated, to be honest, you are restricting your damage to a 4.25 captain, and you kind of miss out on the rest of what his captain ability tries to do. Nevertheless, a 2.5 times chain lock is still pretty strong every single turn. But that's sort of what hinders Sabo. You kind of want to bring chain boundary units instead of bringing stuff like chain locking units. With a chain boundary and then like Sabo's shenanigans of chain multiplicative buff and like chain boosting, like he can get a lot of damage output. And whenever you're versing something like a a dex super boss and you need like a strength team, he is going to be a very viable option if you are doing some chain shenanigans. But as you guys saw there, we actually used the chain lock here to actually make sure we didn't do too much damage against Pika. And on this Pika stage, you actually need to use a chain locker when you leave this stage. Otherwise, you will be in for a pretty bad time, and he does some pretty nasty shenanigans. It's actually quite annoying if you don't have a chain lock here, because you'll get like 99 turns of a very basic chain lock if you don't. So, very important that you bring Vivi Rebecca here, even though they're not getting boosted when you switch into the Dex variation. Same with Zoro Sanji, switching into the Sai variation can be a hindrance for your damage. This is where Sabo really struggles as well. Because he's a strength captain, a mono strength captain, you're not really getting access to a lot of those crazy ass switch abilities. You can still use them like you see here. Like the switch ability of Zoro Sanji is absolutely crucial for getting around the paralysis. But then like when you're in the Sai variation, you don't get damage with that unit. When you're in the Dex variation of Vivi Rebecca, you don't get damage for that unit. And then if you're switching with them, you get the chain lock. And it's very, very finicky when you aren't doing your team building. And as you guys saw at the start, it's why I sort of struggled so much. However, with Sabo being built up around back-ended damage, switching into those types of units or utilizing switch abilities that can help you out for stuff like paralysis removal with Zoro Sanji. Sorry, I do that all the time. Sanji and Luffy. It can work quite nicely if you are doing all that back-ended stuff, because you're mucking around with the chain multiplier. So it can still work. However, it's just not like super reliable, which is a bit of a downside to the actual unit. But nevertheless, like, you can make it work here or there, so it is what it is. As for the strength sort of color, like strength has a lot of very, very good options, so that is always nice as well. You can hybrid this guy with some pretty nasty stuff, like level limit break plus bullet would be an absolutely insane pairing, because like you give the color affinity to bullet, and bullet's super effective against all types, and it really like heightens Sabo's value there. Once Sabo gets his 6+ though, and you can apply Sai units to the team, it is going to be a little bit nicer, because you can not only run stuff like Zoro Sanji and actually get them fully boosted, you can use stuff like Bond, Clay, and Ivankov, and any sort of dual like Mihawk Perona, Neko Inu, all of those characters that have the Sai and the strength variation, you'll be able to use under the super evolution of this particular Sabo. But obviously, this is a showcase of what he can do with his just like regular strength sort of form. Not really what he can do when you actually get his 6+. Let me know in the comment section below. We'll probably do one anyway, but let me know where you guys want to see me take the new super evolution of Sabo. Whether we come back into this particular piece of content and we directly compare the pair, or if we take them somewhere else and sort of try out what the new shenanigans of the Sai variation of Sabo can provide as well. So once we actually get to the next stage, though, things start to get a little bit shaky. This Gladius stage was a little bit annoying, because obviously we don't have type advantage running a mono strength team. And when you are running a mono strength team, coming up against a quick boss is going to be a little bit annoying. Well, it's going to be very annoying actually, because Sabo's a color affinity booster. If you use his special, you're going to get like 2.25 less damage to color affinity. So you have to be very careful when you are sort of designing a team. And if you are utilizing this Sabo as a captain, like, I would really recommend hybriding him up with something like Bullet. Like, running 2 Sabos is really never going to be an ideal situation. So that's going to be that's a huge hindrance on the unit. It's a huge, and that's been his problem since day one. Like, mono strength teams, obviously you have to verse Dex content, and then if like you're doing these long types of content, you are going to be up ship creek without a paddle. However, he is still quite strong. He still does have a lot of damage output if you are versing Dex teams and stuff like that. Now, against Diamante here, this is where the healing mechanic that Sabo has in his captain ability actually shines. Because once I got to this Diamante stage, and I tried a couple of different team comps and a couple of different options, I really just kept struggling every time I got to this guy. Because I could not do the damage, plus I wouldn't have any specials ready to go. I mean, you could probably stall here or there for some other stuff, but trying to like build out the team with special blind removal, damage reduction removal, defense up removal. Obviously, we had to resort to bath time carrot. Like, that's a god tier sub for this particular piece of content. And I haven't actually used her in a little while, so I thought like bringing her on this was a very fair game. But once I got to this stage against Diamante, like, I just could not get the damage to take this man out. However, we do have the healing by hitting perfects every single turn. We have the healing from the switch ability of Vivi Rebecca, and we have the healing from the recovery orb that Zoro and Sanji can provide as well. I didn't actually like take advantage of that in the first 2 stages. I kind of went for the damage, because on stage 3, you get 99 turns of a 1.1 chain lock. Now, that is obviously going to be a huge problem for Sabo. Sabo is a chain boosting unit. Getting a 1.1 chain lock, which basically means not only do we lose our chain, but we're now just a flat rate 4.25 times captain to strength. That is literally it. But as you can see, every time we're hitting perfects with our auto heal shock sockets, we're healing back 12,000 every single turn. Nevertheless, we are taking like 20,000, but it does allow us just enough time here to stall out, get all of our specials back. So once we move into the final stage against the Doflamingo combo, we will be in good stead to actually take out both of them. And I was actually genuinely impressed with Sabo here. Like, as you guys will see here, we literally survived one more shot from Diamante, and I was actually genuinely survived. Wow, words are hard, man. I was genuinely surprised with Sabo on this final stage of how much damage output we actually had to actually take out the Doflamingos. Now, this is where Sabo works great, because you can hit 3 perfects very easily, because we are using Zoro, Sanji, and Vivi, who don't actually get a captain buff. So they're doing absolutely no damage. We can hit the 3 perfects, and then we can get the 2.25 times color affinity boost to carry into the next stage. This is like Sabo in his best case scenario, but his worst case scenario at the exact same time, because he's perfect for actually getting the carryover of the color affinity buff, which he probably work amazing as a sub, don't get me wrong, but he also has a 1.1 times chain lock, which is a huge problem. Like I said, it drastically reduces our damage so damn much that it's actually not even funny. However, with a 2 times attack boost from Zoro and Sanji, with a 2 times conditional boost from the burn mechanic that Ace can provide, we have a 2.25 times color affinity buff. We have a 2.5 times orb boost to our free spirit and shooter characters, which basically is only 4 units on this team as well. And then we're stuck with a 1.1 chain boundary and a 4.25 times captain, or 4.75, because obviously we have type advantage, so we have the super type kicking in. But Sabo still manages to do so much damage here. Like, so much damage. Now, you could only imagine if we didn't have the chain lock here, if we didn't have that that annoying shenanigans, you could only imagine how much damage output we would be like doing on Dofi there. So this man, when you are versing Dex enemies, can be very powerful. But I hope you enjoyed the showcase nevertheless. I can't stand this guy still. Belt the like button, belt the subscribe button. Most importantly though, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!